Hello, Toastmasters.
Morning.
Morning.
And welcome guest. So, in titling my speech, my first icebreaker here, I went through a couple. My first thought was naming it Perspicacious, but I decided against that at the last minute. So, today I'm here to talk about the reason that I joined Toastmasters in the first place. And that kind of takes me back down a couple different roads. And the first thing that it reminds me of is, interestingly enough, fear. A very universal human emotion. I think we can all agree. Does anybody have any specific things that they're afraid of? Yes?
Absolutely.
What would be an example?
I'm so afraid of it, I don't even want to tell everybody. Because then they'll use it against me.
Sometimes our fears are so scary that we don't even want to think about them.
Spiders.
I agree. And that takes me to one of my biggest fears. I think I have two, in fact. Or at least back in the day, I had two. The first one was centipedes. Centipedes, swear to God, they are the creepiest things I've ever seen in my life. They spiders are bad, but then you take that and you add like 92 more legs on that, and that's just way too much for me. I always used to tell my girlfriend, I said, okay, so if there's a cockroach in the house, I'll handle it. If there's a spider in the house, you handle it. And if there's a centipede in the house, we're burning it down and collecting the insurance. So, do not like centipedes. So, now, please no one use that against me like John suggested. So, the second thing, that was always one of my biggest fears, was being up in front of a group of people and having no idea what I was going to say. And there's a reason for that. About 5 years ago to this date, I was a sophomore in college. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but sophomores in college are some of the most incredible creatures on this planet because they have all of these skills, all of these worries, all of these things they're dealing with. They're very perspicacious, but none of them are school, which is really fascinating given that they're in school at the time. So, you're a sophomore in college and you're worried about, which dining hall am I going to go to? You're worried about, I need to make friends. You're worried about your girlfriend. You're worried about where you're going to go out that night. And given that you're a sophomore in college, you're worried about where you're going to go out the next night and probably the Monday night too, because you're a weirdo. And so, basically, there's a lot of things on your mind when you're a sophomore in college, and somehow, not many of them are school related. So, I was once a sophomore in college too, and I had a presentation the next day. And I remember vividly being on my friend's couch in the dorm room, this really ratty old thing, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, it's just about time to go to bed. I realized, I have a presentation tomorrow. And classic sophomore year fashion, I remember thinking, well, that's nice, it's time to go to bed. So, go to bed. I wake up the next day, and I'm feeling great. The speech is about Georgia's sunshine laws. And the first person goes up, and I'm sitting there, and I go, I still feel really great. This is a great day to give a presentation. Second person goes up. I go, this is still a wonderful day to give a presentation. It's nice out, the weather's getting nice, it's the middle of spring. Really excited to give this presentation. Third person goes up. Still feeling really good. And it's my turn to go up. I stand up there, I walk all the way up there. Something hits me. I have no idea what Georgia's sunshine laws are. I don't know what a sunshine law is. So, in that moment, something weird happened to me. I was standing up there, I was looking at everyone, just as I am now, all these wonderful faces in the crowd, and I'm thinking, man, my whole life, I've never had an issue with saying words. I really like to talk, and I have no idea what I'm saying to say right now. It was very, very weird. Felt like my whole body kind of seized up a little bit, and the only thing I could think of, I went to my professor and I said, I have to use the bathroom. And so, ran off and used the bathroom, right in the middle of my presentation. So, I'm in there for a little bit. I hear a knock on the stall door. It's one of my classmates. And he's like, Ryan, are you okay in there? You have food poisoning or something? And my mind is just racing, trying to think of an excuse. And I'm like, oh God, what do I say? And I'm like, oh yeah, man, those oysters that I had, they were just awful last night. I can't get back up. And so, I didn't give the presentation. And from that moment on, it kind of became a little bit of a bugaboo in my head, this fact that I was up there in front of all these people and I had no idea what to say. I was so nervous about it. And so, it became one of my fears. I was so nervous about it that in my classes, in the future, I would try to avoid giving speeches like that because I didn't want to be in that same situation. I was so nervous about being up there and having to pretend that I had oysters again. And so, when my friends would be like, hey Ryan, why weren't you in this class? Or we had our presentation, I would say, oh man, I had Chinese food last night and I just was not feeling so great about it. Or, oh, we got a centipede infestation in my house right now, and we really, there's a lot going on right now. I don't have time to give a presentation. So it made me realize something over time, that there was nothing embarrassing. There was nothing to be ashamed about in being afraid. There was nothing wrong with fear. The thing that was tripping me up was the fear of fear. It wasn't the being afraid. It was being afraid of being in those situations that made you afraid. Avoiding uncomfortable situations. And that was a big lesson I learned. In fact, I think I should have taken away 2 lessons from that experience. The first one was what Georgia's sunshine laws are. And I can say definitively, I am now in law school, and I still have no idea what Georgia's sunshine laws are, so I did not learn that lesson. But I learned another more important lesson, and I think that one is that running away from our fears, avoiding our fears, doesn't help. It doesn't make it go away. It doesn't help us conquer them. It only makes them worse. It only makes them build up until they become bigger and scarier. And so the way to attack them, and the way to get better, and the way to make them go away, is by attacking them head on, and by facing them, by being confident. And that's why I'm here today at Toastmasters with all of you. Except, I don't know if that approach works for centipedes. I have not tried, and I never want to see another one in my life. Thank you very much.